Hey friends, it's Lola and I'm back with another video. I actually started streaming on Twitch very recently. 7 streams so far. It's pretty fun and I was just figuring things out. Hopefully I can see you guys next stream. Okay, so I created this OC back in 2020 and she wasn't fully developed, design-wise and lore-wise. I decided to redesign her and I'm going to show the clips from the streams while explaining my design decisions and a little bit of her backstory. So our character is called Amani and she was known as the butterfly child because of her unique bond with butterflies in her early age. That explains why you see some butterfly features on her. Since butterfly wings are fragile and transparent, I was thinking of making her outfit looking fragile with some see-through fabrics. She was given the power to travel into other people's dreams, so she got to look pure, dreamy, innocent, and some kind of soothing feeling when you look at her. Around her neck area, I know that I want to give her something, but I wasn't sure what yet, so I end up just drawing a butterfly there for now, and then I'll get back to it later on. For her footwear, I decided to replicate the design of her top. I also moved it down a little bit so it's not poking the back of her knees or her thigh when she moves around. I was debating whether I wanted to give her elf ears because I like elves, but she's a human, so I keep the human ear but give her that butterfly earpiece that is pointy like an elf ear, so best of both worlds. In the old design, when she activates her power, there's butterfly wing scale patterns lining up on her hands, so I want to keep that. Now that we're done with the design, let's move on to creating the art. Let me explain a little bit more about her and why I chose to draw her like this. So when she got her power that she can enter people's dream, she used her gift with the purest intention. She became the bringer of serenity to troubled minds, venturing into the nightmares and adorning the dreams with vibrant, beautiful visions. Unfortunately, each journey into the dream realm drained her significantly. She was feeling very powerless. And one day, she was being attacked by a strange man. As she fought fiercely for her life, she accidentally triggered a new power. She unknowingly took away the man's desires and he passed out. She felt an electrifying surge coursing through her veins as it happened. Amani wanted to use this new power to extract the essence from the bad people's desire to give her the energy to help the innocents. The allure of the sensation of power grew irresistible. Her path got a bit fuzzy, blurring the lines between doing good and wanting more power. She's not the butterfly child anymore. Amani is a butterfly dreamweaver now. What I'm drawing here is a scene where Amani is hunting a bad person, or that's how she thought of him. I want the main focus to be her face and her hand placing near her mouth, looking at us in a completely innocent way, smiling as though she's enjoying herself. But when you really look at the drawing, pinning down at her other hand in the corner of the drawing, you see that she's actually preying on a man, extracting his desires. Another thing about Amani is that she knows how to use her innocent and pure appearance as a way to lure her victims. That's why you would pay most of your attention on her face first and realize her action after. Okay, enough about the lore. Let's talk about my drawing process. I could have started straight with color, but since I sketched with a square brush, it is almost like shading already, so I think it would be quicker for me to just shade in grayscale first and then add color in later. As I'm working through this, I was deciding whether I wanted the scene to be dark like the old version here or in the morning. I think since her hair is white and I wanted to give this drawing like some mysterious, majestic vibe, I think the darker background would be the best option. It allows her to shine. For the second day stream, I made a few changes. I adjust her body a little bit so it looks more like she's not posing but more of her in the middle of her action. I made it more like she's slouching down a little bit, closing herself up, looking more shy and innocent. I feel like that feels more natural and fits to her character more than her just sitting there and posing, looking stiff. I also changed the hand structure a little bit. For the hand near her face, it's showing more knuckles than the other one, showing just like half of her palm. And this way it looks more like she's placing it there naturally, showing her being shy or harmless even, instead of pointing at her cheek like saying, oh, you have something on your face. About her left hand, since I move it a little bit to her right, it would be twisted too much to have the hand facing front, so I face it slightly away so it doesn't look like she's bending her hand a little too much. So yeah, that's the changes I made in terms of the pose. Shading for the most part was okay. The sketch part when I was using the square brush was quite a significant part of the drawing. That's why it was quite hard for me to switch back and forth from the sketch layer and the shading layer, and it took me extra time to do so because I keep having to going back to the sketch to either to blur it or even erase the whole thing so I can add more shading. Like my sketch, even though I was using the square brush, was very messy. That's why it didn't help at all. So maybe in the future I might just stick with sketch brush for now, or maybe I should clean up my sketch layer a bit better before going to shading. When it comes to her top, I was struggling quite hard. I've never drawn this kind of material before, but I really want to capture that holographic glowiness of the top, like the reference here. Since I'm shading in grayscale, I had to turn down the saturation of the reference image so it's easier for me to shade. I think it turns out fine, and it will look better when I add the color in. Just wait for it and trust me. For her butterfly wing earpiece, I just kind of wing it. I didn't know how to properly add the lighting, but I assume that I maybe just add most of the lighting on top and more of the shading at the bottom, and just, imagine how it would look like. Kind of using the reference a little bit, but it's quite hard to go into every single detail, so I keep it pretty brief, but I think it works. And of course I duplicate it and copy it to the other side, because why would I do it again, Now's the part that I was avoiding earlier in the design stage, her necklace thingy. One of my viewers suggested the butterfly at first, that's why I put it there. But then they also said that maybe I used the wire thing from the earpiece down there. And I tried it, but I feel like it's a bit too thin for something to be there. It's kind of like, it doesn't pop. Like, it kind of lost there under her neck. So I decided to make it like more solid form instead, a bit smaller than the sketch earlier, and have some stringy pearly thing falling down. Make it kind of glowing a little bit. I think it gives the little bit of a sparkle feeling, but not too repetitive by reusing that wire earpiece, and I think I like how it turns out here. Now it's time to draw the victim. I didn't even sketch him at all. So right now I'm just basically adding the shadow, adding his face. I don't think I've ever drawn a face in this angle before. So I had to go back and forth adjusting it a lot. And since it's only showing part of his face, not as much as the reference here, I need to make sure that it's recognizable as a face. Now I'm adding in the color. I went with the purple background like the old one, but it turns out quite muddy and it's not really have good or enough contrast there. I chose to just leave it there for the time being and went ahead to add in color for the characters instead. I also have an overlay layer and multiply layer to add the hint of purple from the background, brushing around the edges of her body because, like reflecting on it even though it's dark. For the overlay layer, I also add some blush for her skin, and for her top I added blue, cyan, and purple, a little bit of pink, just to create that holographic effect. When I try a darker background, I immediately love it so much, and I kept it. where the hand, I know that I want the details where her left hand is a little bit more subtle, but I still want her to have that veiny light up thing that come out of her hand when she used her power. And I want something coming out of the guy looking like his desire being sucked out of him. So I do add some effects there, but I keep it low opacity, so it's there, but it doesn't draw too much attention to it, if that makes sense. So yeah, that is it for today's video. I really hope you enjoy it. It was very fun streaming, and I would be so happy to see more of you guys showing up next time. And when you're in the stream, you can also talk to me and tell me, like, suggest me certain things about my drawing. I think that'd be fun. Thank you for watching. I'll see you soon. Have a great rest of your day. Bye.